You know that feeling when you check your bank account, and instead of immediately closing the app in horror, you actually smile? Like, you don't immediately start doing mental math about whether you can pay your rent and eat food this week. You just look at it and feel fine. Most people have never felt that. And here's the crazy part. It doesn't take $1 million to get there. It doesn't take 6 figures in the bank. It takes $20,000. That's it. $20,000 is the number where everything changes. Not just your bank account, your brain, your career, your entire relationship with money. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why. Because most financial advice skips right past this milestone and talks about becoming a millionaire. But that's like telling someone who can't swim to train for the Olympics. $20,000 is where you learn to swim. And once you can swim, everything else gets possible. Section 2. Where you are right now. Let me describe where most people are before they hit $20,000. Every financial decision is filtered through fear. Your car makes a weird noise, and instead of just fixing it, you spend 3 days calculating whether you can afford it without missing rent. Your friend invites you on a trip, and you say you're busy, when really, you're just broke. You stay in the job you hate because leaving feels too risky. You don't negotiate your salary because you're terrified they'll say no and somehow fire you. You can't think about the future because the present is too urgent. Psychologists call this survival mode. When you don't have a financial buffer, your brain is literally operating in a state of low-level emergency. Every decision is short-term. Every choice is reactive. Every unexpected expense is a crisis. You're not bad with money. You're just running a brain that's been hijacked by scarcity. And the only way to turn that off is to build enough of a cushion that your nervous system can finally relax. $20,000 is that cushion. Section 3. What happens at $20,000? The moment you cross $20,000, something shifts. Not in the world, in your brain. Suddenly you stop asking, how do I survive until next paycheck, and start asking, how do I grow this? Instead of being reactive, you become proactive. Instead of seeing every expense as a threat, you start seeing opportunities. Research from Vanguard shows that having just $2,000 in emergency savings increases your financial well-being by 21%. $2,000. That's less than most people spend on a vacation. But that tiny buffer creates a massive psychological shift. When you push that to $20,000, which for most people is 3 to 6 months of living expenses, you get another 13% boost in financial well-being. But more importantly, you've created enough breathing room for your brain to think about wealth building instead of just survival. You stop playing defense. You start playing offense. And that changes everything. Section 4. The math starts working for you. Here's where it gets interesting. Let's say you're saving $1,000 a month and earning 8% returns on your investments. Getting to your first $20,000 takes about 19 months of consistent saving. A year and a half of discipline and delayed gratification, that's hard. Most people quit somewhere in there. But here's the part that'll blow your mind. Your second $20,000 doesn't take another 19 months. It only takes 17 months. Why? Because now you've got that first $20,000 working alongside your contributions, generating its own returns. You did the exact same work, saved the same amount each month, took the same risk. But you shaved 2 months off the timeline just because you had more money working for you. By the time you're going for your third $20,000, the timeline shrinks even more. And when you get to the really big numbers, the acceleration becomes almost unfair. Once you hit $400,000, you can generate your next $20,000 in just 5 months. The same amount that took you nearly 2 years to save at the start now happens automatically in 5 months. That first $20,000 is the hardest. Every milestone after gets progressively easier. That's not motivation. That's math. Section 5. The career superpower. Here's something nobody tells you about having $20,000 saved. It changes your relationship with work. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're trapped. Your boss is terrible? You can't quit. Your coworker is making your life miserable? You can't walk away. Better opportunity across town? You can't risk the gap. You need that next paycheck too much, and everyone knows it, including you. But $20,000 gives you what I call walking away money. You could quit tomorrow and survive for months while you find something better. Now, here's the crazy part. You probably won't ever need to use it. Just knowing it's there changes your entire energy at work. You become more confident, more direct, less desperate. You ask for the raise you deserve because the worst they can say is no, and you'll be fine. You push back on things that are unreasonable because you're not scared of the consequences. And here's what's really wild. When you show up differently, people treat you differently. You get better assignments, more respect, more money, all because you have $20,000 sitting in an account you never touch. It's a secret superpower that costs nothing to use, but changes everything. Section 6. How to not blow it. Here's where most people mess up. They hit $20,000. They feel that psychological shift. They feel rich. And then they blow it. New car because they deserve it after all that saving. Expensive vacation because they've earned it. Down payment on a house they can't actually afford. Don't do this. That $20,000 is not a reward for good behavior. It's the foundation of everything that comes next. Think of it like this. You just spent 19 months pushing a boulder up a hill. You're almost at the top, the point where gravity starts working for you instead of against you. And then you let go of the boulder and walk back down to buy a car. You didn't just lose $20,000. You lost all the momentum you built. You have to start the push all over again. The rule is simple. Once you hit $20,000, you treat it like it doesn't exist. It's not available. It's not accessible. It's not yours to spend. It's the foundation. You build on top of it. You never tear it down. Section 7. The real secret. Here's what saving $20,000 actually does that nobody talks about. It proves something to yourself. Unless you're making insane money or living rent-free, getting to $20,000 from zero requires real sacrifice. You had to track where every dollar was going. You had to say no to things you wanted. You had to resist the urge to blow your savings every time something shiny came along. And you did it for months, maybe years. That means you prove to yourself that you can control money instead of letting it control you. You became the type of person who can delay gratification when it matters. That's not just a financial skill. That's a life skill. And once you've proven you can do it once, you can do it again. And again, until one day you look up and you have $100,000. Then $500,000. Then you're the person your younger self was jealous of. The one who seems to have it figured out. The one who doesn't stress about money. The one who smiles when they check their bank account. It all started with $20,000. Section 8. How to get there. All right, so how do you actually build the $20,000? No tricks, no hacks, just the actual path. Step 1. Cut the 3 big ones. Housing, transportation, and food are where most money goes. Get a roommate, drive a cheaper car, cook more. That's it. You don't need to track every coffee. You need to fix the big leaks. Step 2. Automate the savings. The day your paycheck hits, a fixed amount automatically moves to a separate savings account. Not after you pay everything else. First, before anything. Make it invisible, and you'll stop fighting yourself about it. Step 3. Increase your income. Saving more is limited. Earning more is not. Ask for the raise. Pick up extra work. Build a side income. Every extra dollar you earn cuts the timeline shorter. Step 4. Don't touch it. This is the hardest one. Every time you dip into your savings for something non-emergency, you reset the clock. Protect that number like it's the most important thing you own, because it is. Section 9. Final thoughts. $20,000 won't make you rich, not by itself, but it will fundamentally change how you think, how you work, and how you move through the world. It turns off the survival mode that's been running in the background of your brain. It gives you options when you have none. It makes you dangerous in a negotiation. It gives compound interest something real to work with. And it proves to yourself that you can actually do this. Most people are waiting for a sign that things are going to get better. They're waiting for a raise, a lucky break, the right moment. $20,000 is the sign. Not because the number is magic, but because building it requires you to become someone different. Someone who controls their money. Someone who thinks long-term. Someone who can finally stop playing defense and start building something real. Start today. Not next month. Not when things settle down. Today, because the longer you wait, the longer you stay in survival mode. And you've been there long enough. If this changed how you see money, share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next one.